Hello YouTube, welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to share with you how I balance my Blackmagic cinema camera 6K Pro on Ronin S with heavy lens. So without further ado, let's get started. My first frustration of having Blackmagic pocket cinema camera was how to balance such heavy camera on Ronin S, which was what I have and which is what I have. I checked YouTube for a couple of videos, but I found few which solutions did not really help me. Because I attached my camera to a rig, I use SSD hard drive instead of CFast, which is going to add more weight to the camera, and also added focus motor on the Ronin in order for me to be able to pull focus without touching the camera lens when the Ronin is powered on, which is really not advisable. So because of my unique experience, I have made this video to cover my step-by-step process of how I mount and balance my camera on Ronin S. But if you're just interested in how to balance your camera on Ronin S, kindly skip the video introduction. I just feel this part of the video might be useful to someone. So the first thing I usually do is to prep my lens. I use Tamron 24 to 70 2.8 for Nikon with G to EF adapter. Then I attach follow focus rubber to my lens focus ring. And after doing this, I mount my lens to my Blackmagic camera, which is really very easy to do. So the next thing to do is to attach other accessories to the camera. One of them is the Samsung T5 SSD hard drive. The reason why I use this is because of the size. This is a 1 terabyte hard drive, which is quite affordable compared to me buying CFast card, which is really expensive. And I have this understanding from the number of time I've used it, that it actually performs well and it's really reliable. So after installing my hard drive, then the next thing I want to do is to attach the DJI Ronin plate, which is really key. What I always advise is to ensure that the Ronin plate stays right. So the next thing I want to do is to attach my focus motor base, which is really important. I usually attach it to the right side of the camera because the camera is heavy to the left, and adding more weight to the left is going to take you really off balance them all. So I try as much as possible to put every other accessories to the right side of the camera in order to counter the weight a bit. So after doing that, the next thing I always do is to mount my focus motor, which is really easy. Just slide it in and get it done, and that is it. So now that we have the camera set up and the accessories attached, the next thing you want to do is to install the camera on the gimbal, which is really tricky and it takes time. Okay. So the first thing I usually do is to, unscrew all the axes. We have the roll, we have the tilt, and we have the pan. So I unscrew everything and I move, the base to the left, and then I insert the camera and the plate and everything. And as you can see, the camera is, going heavy to the right. And because of the weight of the camera and everything, there is no amount of shift that you do that would actually help you hold the camera to stay. That is why I always advise that to get a counterweight. So there is this small counterweight that I got on Amazon. So what I do is I attach it to the handle of the Ronin in order to counterbalance the weight of the camera is to the right in order to counterbalance it to the left. So after adding my balancer, I've been able to put some weight, into the gimbal in order to create a few balance. So the first thing I try to do is to adjust the roll. So I try to make sure that there is a balance. So if it's heavy to the right, you see the camera falling to the right, and if it's heavy to the left, you see the camera falling to the left. So I try to balance it in such a way that it's balanced. There is no falling to the right or to the left. Then the next thing I do is to work on the pan. I try to move the pan backward in order to have more space at the back, which is really important because the camera is big. So after doing that, then I created a balance for my tilt, Then when I get what I wanted, I discovered that the camera is either front heavy or back heavy. It's no longer right heavy or left heavy. So the problem we have right now is front heavy, and this is where the trick is. You really need to take your time and you need to be patient in order to get this right. So then what I do is I try to adjust the camera by pushing it on the base either to the front or to the back until I get to a point where the fall to the front or to the back is no longer visible. It's no longer so much. It's no longer very fast. At this point, you are close to balancing your gimbal. So what you should do is to just relax and begin to adjust the plates just little or tiny by tiny in order to give it a balance. And once you get the balance, you realize that the camera will stand on its own. And at this point, you are almost there. So you just have to pay attention. So the next thing I try to do is to power on my battery and turn on the gimbal. Then I notice that the camera is falling to the back, so which is really easy. If it's falling to the back, it means it's back heavy. So what you do is just to push the base plate to the front a bit, which is what I did. And after a few attempts, I got it right. And at that point, I power on the gimbal. Now, one thing you need to pay attention to is that if, for instance, you're using like a Sony a7S II or a smaller camera before, if you balance your Ronin on a smaller camera before. So now that you have a heavy camera on the Ronin, the next thing you need to do is to turn on your app on the phone and go to motor parameters and set auto tune. This should help you to rebalance the motors and give it the right strength based on the weight of the camera and everything on the Ronin. And after doing that, your Ronin should be okay. Your Ronin should look very well. And at this point, you can see that the Ronin is moving so smooth and everything looks fine. But for us to just be sure that we've got the right balance, we need to do a balance test, which is what I always do. So let's begin the test. And from what you can see, you'll see that the balance is quite normal, which is really good. And that is it. So it's very easy, but you just have to be patient and all of that until you get the right result. So that is that on how I balance my Ronin S from start to finish. And if you like this video, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'm going to be coming with lots of amazing videos and tutorials, information, and sometimes reviews. So thank you and see you some other time. Bye for now.